Javed Basha here. So in the last session, we have been discussed about political and legal environment, and in this session, we are discussing about the functions of state. Right. So here, here, now government has started participating increasingly in the productive activities through its monetary and fiscal policies. Those are guiding uh, direction of economic activities in the country. Correct. It also determines the distribution of goods and services in the economy. According to the United Nations Study Group, like they quoted that in addition to the functions, government normally perform. There is a large borderland of functions which they ought to perform for the simple reasons that are that they are important and are not carried out sufficiently by private effort, right? So this borderland can exist in any country, but it is wider in underdeveloped countries because private enterprises in the latter is more knowledgeable and more enterprising than in the former, correct? So in underdeveloped countries, planning is not limited to intervention but is regarded as a necessary condition for economic development. Since sources are scarce in underdeveloped countries, it becomes necessary to plan the distribution among various projects utilization as well as the plan their utilization in these projects. Correct. So thus the underdeveloped countries cannot escape planning if they want to develop themselves in a reasonably short span of time, which implies that time factor is very important. Correct. So the problem prevailing in the underdeveloped countries cannot be solved by the private enterprises, and thus the state action is necessary for the economic development of these countries. And government controls over production, distribution, consumption of commodities, and to perform these, the government has to devise physical control and monetary and fiscal measures. And these measures are essential for reducing economic and social inequalities that are prevailing in underdeveloped countries. Correct. So here, uh, like uh, uh, the to here the state action is very vast. It includes maintaining public services, influencing the use of resources, influencing the distribution of income, controlling the quantity of money, controlling the fluctuations, and ensuring full employment and influencing the level of investment. Right. So, thus, government has to shoulder heavy responsibilities in order to ensure rapid economic development in underdeveloped countries, and the task can be performed by two types of measures: one direct measures, the next one is indirect measures. Here in direct measures we could see that like organizational changes, uh, like it includes the organization changes includes the expansion of the size of market and the organization of labor market, right? The state can develop the means of transport and communications for expanding the size of market because private enterprises cannot be capable of undertaking such schemes. And the next aspect is like social and economic overheads. Like we know that the main obstacle in the way of economic development of underdeveloped country is the lack of economic overhead. That means of communications and transportation, ports, electricity, irrigation, etc. Correct. So in industrially advanced countries, these facilities are provided by the private enterprise, but in underdeveloped countries, the private enterprises are not interested to invest because the return is not fruitful, and uh, such huge investments are beyond the capacity of private sector. Hence, it is the duty of government to provide all these facilities in underdeveloped countries. And third important aspect is education. Okay, education plays an important role in the process of economic development. According to the my, according to Meldal, uh, he quoted that to start a national development program while leaving the population largely literate seems to be futile. Right. So the educational facilities provided in underdeveloped countries increases their geographic and occupational mobility, raising their productivity and facilities, innovations. The quality of labor is very important for economic growth. We know that if the labor is having the very good education, then only he can acquire a good skills and knowledge to perform the better job and enhance the productivity, and that will result in the economic development of the country. We know that. And the program of education at the base of the effort to forget the bonds of common citizenship, to harness the energies of the people and develop the nation and human resource of every part of the country. Okay, so education is both consumer and an investment service, right? So next important aspect is public health and family planning. Here, uh, the development and the maintenance of public health services are important functions to be performed by the government. It is necessary that health of people should be maintained to increase the efficiency and productivity of labor. Right. So here, public health measures generally includes the improvement of environmental sanitation in both rural and urban areas, removal of stagnant and polluted water, better disposal of sewage, control of communicable diseases, provision for medical and health services, particularly in the field of maternity and child welfare. Health and family planning, education, and the training of health and medical personnel, and all these requires planned effort on the part of public authorities. Correct. So, public health and family planning is very important aspect. So, which is completely which is completely held with the government responsibility. So, here public health measures affect economic development in both ways. Correct. So, better the public health, better the economic development. So, less quality of public health means that again there is a lack of economical development in the country. And there is something like changes in institutional framework. Okay, here and we know that economic development cannot take place in static institutional framework. Correct. The rigid institutional framework is positive in the path of development of economic development. Here, the difference between economic growth in advanced countries and the development is so-called developing countries is that in the former attitudes and institutions are by and large adapted to change, and the society has innovation and progress built into the system, while the later attitudes and institutions and even policies are stubborn obstacle to development. Correct. Here, we know that in our country, during 1991, our country makes some institutional framework changes into our economical system. Like we, our government has been introduced LPG model for the economic development of country. Apart from that, during time to time, there are various policies, various acts have been amended to change the institutional framework to allow the business to work freely. Right. So here, institutional framework like the it leads to the people of a country must deserve progress, and their social, economic, legal, and political institution must be favorable to it. Right. So, apart from that, like stepping up rate of investment. Correct. So, the process of development is accelerated by increasing the rate of investment. The rate of savings in underdeveloped countries is highly inadequate as compared to their investment requirements. Hence, it becomes essential for government to accelerate the rate of capital formation in these countries, and the government can achieve this through taxation or inflation. Right. So investment is very important, and we could see that in underdeveloped country the rate of saving is very less compared to the development countries. Hence, it becomes the government duty. It becomes government duty. It is become essential for government to accelerate the rate of capital formation in the country, and the government can achieve the capital formation through taxation or inflation. And another important aspect is agricultural development. Agriculture development in underdeveloped countries, majority of people depend upon agriculture for their livelihood, and a lack of irrigation and credit facilities are maintained hurdles in the way of economic development. If the agriculture remains backward, the other sectors of the economy cannot develop because agriculture is the basic industry and other industries depend upon it for raw materials. Correct? So, agriculture development, correct, it is one of the major concern in the underdeveloped countries, as many of the people are belonging to rural areas and many of the people they opted agriculture as their basic employment opportunity and they are working in lands, and many of the industries in the country are completely depending upon this agriculture sector for the raw materials. Hence, it is important to develop the agriculture sector by the way of providing irrigation facilities, credit facilities, and other facilities to the farmers, like increasing uh, supplying of fertilizers, programs for compost and green manure, and program for the introduction of improved agriculture implements, a program for development of poultry, fish, and dairy products, a program for increasing production of vegetable and fruits would helpful on this, and industrial development. Correct. Uh, in underdeveloped countries, natural resources are less. This is due to the fact that these countries remained under the colonial rule for a long period and their natural resources were mercilessly exploited for their selfish ends. And after attaining their freedom, there was no logic to leave the development of these resources in the hands of foreign dominating countries. Hence, hence, uh, it is a need of the hour is that the state should come forward and take measures to formulate and implement a judicious industrial policy. And this industrial policy should focus on decentralization of industries which may spread all over the country without any political interference. And one more aspect like influencing the use of resources. Okay, and we know that in underdeveloped countries generally characterized by the underutilization and misutilization of resources. Hence, the government must take measures to ensure proper utilization of resources. This is there is a problem of conservation of natural resources like forest and minerals. This should not be allowed to be utilized in a wasteful manner, right? So, here the government is required to play a role influencing the use of scarce resources. There are also problems of proper land use, proper planning of towns, and proper location of industries, and it requires long term and comprehensive planning of the part of government. And one more important aspect like removal of inequalities, okay, and optimum allocation of resources. Correct. Here, in underdeveloped countries or less developed countries has the problem of optimum utilization of economic resources. In most of the countries, natural resources are not only underutilized but misutilized, as I told earlier. Conduct a proper survey of natural resources and their proper exploitation is not possible without active participation of state. Correct. So, the ultimate aim of economic development is to create conditions of full employment of labor and other resources. The state must mold the attitude of people in right direction. They must adopt attitude to work, thrift, and to other problem of development. Correct. So next important aspects are like maintenance of peace and security, and balanced growth, self-reliance. Correct. So when it comes to the self-reliance, underdeveloped countries depending on the foreign trade for their development projects. In fact, foreign aid is the beneficial at initial stages of development, but the process cannot go endlessly. Sooner or later, these countries stand on their own. Less or self-reliance is must for these countries. Correct. And when we say balanced growth, and the development of underdeveloped countries is unbalanced and lopsided. It is realized that underdeveloped countries must adopt the strategy of balanced growth, but this cannot be achieved by an individual enterprises. It has to be planned in a systematic manner by the government, right? So we till now we discussed about the functions of state with respect to the which is involving the direct measures of government, and we have something like indirect measures of monetary policies, fiscal policy, pricing policies, increase in foreign trade, strengthening of public sector, economic planning, public debt. So these are some indirect measures taken from the government. Correct. Here we know that fiscal policy is a proper monetary policy helps economic and industry development by increasing the volume of scarce resources. Correct. So raising the productivity of factor of production, improving the economic and social conditions, and removing the various bottlenecks in the process of economic development. So in development countries, control of money supply by the government is necessary as they had ensured the full employment. Correct. So when we say fiscal policy is measuring the changes in government revenues and expenditure pattern have increasingly come to be regarded as desirable instrument of government policy. Correct. So taxation can be used for increasing savings by restricting consumption and directing investment in promoting channels and preventing it from going into undesired lines. Correct. And when we say price policy, it is an important field of economic activity of government in less development countries. It's regulating and controlling of prices. Okay. So here, initial stage of economic development, prices are increases due to increased investment in the economy due to policy of deficit finance followed by the government. Hence, it is essential for the government to evolve a suitable price policy and keep prices of essential commodities under control. Right. So then, increase in foreign trade. Okay. Here we know that we know that foreign trade is very important. Okay. So it is the government which can promote exports, facilitate the import of goods necessary for promoting and accelerating economic growth, and restrict the import of luxury goods. Correct. So foreign exchange crisis in development countries can be checked through proper exchange control measure adopted by the government, so that scarce foreign exchange resources are conserved and properly utilized. Then, with respect to economic planning and strengthening of public sector, also the very important for the government. So, these are the basic functions. As I discussed earlier, like these are some direct or indirect measures which are taken by the government. Okay. So, and apart from this, as I mentioned in the slides, defensive functions. Like defensive function means these are primary functions of state, including the includes defense from external aggression and maintenance of law and order. Right. So these two are essential for economic development. And apart from defensive functions, direct and indirect measures of government, there are administrative functions. Here, administrative function setting up of administrative structure and agencies for administering and controlling the different departments in the country. Correct. So, um, apart from that, as we already discussed about economic functions, which comes under direct and indirect measures of the government, and like here there are, in the next section we will be discussing about economic role of government. Thank you.